everyone, my name is Sydney Canoy and I'm a first year and I'm running for Fusion's external vice president for next year. When I first came to college, I didn't really know what to do here because I was far away from my family. I'm from NorCal and I didn't know anyone. So I was just looking for a club to kind of have friends and sort of assimilate better into UCI. And then when I went to the Anteater Involvement Fair, I saw Fusion's booth and I think it was Dexter's Laboratory, I don't remember. But then I fell in love with it because I was like, oh, these guys are really cool. They put a lot of effort. Maybe that means they're a really good club. So then I went out to the first meeting and then I think Adrian was the first one to talk to me. So I knew, oh, these guys are really welcoming. These are the type of people I want to be friends with. So then I went through some Fusion meetings and then they had an internship program. So I became an intern and I think it was one of the best decisions I made my first year because I learned the ins and outs of Fusion and what really goes on into doing all the meetings and making the club run. And that is really what persuaded me to run for this position because Fusion was really the first club where I made friends in college and I really want to help it grow and build new relationships. So as EVP, I really want to reach out to other organizations like CABA, PUSO, Empath, and have more collaboration meetings because the collab meetings this year were really fun and I was able to meet a lot of new people and I want other people in Fusion to get those relationships. And I don't only want to reach out to the other Filipino organizations. We are an engineering club, so I would like to reach out to the other engineering orgs like ESC, EDUB, Engineering Without Borders, and all of those and have collab meetings with them too, because I really want Fusion members to get those connections, to meet those new faces, and to just diversify the people that they hang out with. So hopefully, if you nominate me to become your EVP, I can accomplish all these goals. Thank you.
So the EVP, and I can say this is going to be different for the president too. The EVP and president position are going to be a much different position than they have been in previous years. So prior, their invasion of Alyansa was going to, you go to the Sunday meetings, you find out what's going on within all the clubs, and then you relay it back to your club. And that was pretty much the EVP position. But it's going to be a lot different this year. Last weekend it was agreed upon that all presidents and EVPs from every club will be heavily involved in planning all Allianz events. So P-Grad, NSO, Relay, all these things you will be in the midst planning. And you didn't know about this because it was just agreed upon like a couple of days ago. So I just want to know, like, how prepared are you to like face these things that maybe no EVP has ever like had to like be in the midst of before?
I would say it would be new because, again, I've never really been in charge of planning things, but by being an intern this year, I've kind of got a glimpse of kind of what I might be doing, what you're talking about, because we would plan meetings, plan some events like our Fusion Friday and a Fusion intern fundraiser. So I feel like I wouldn't be going in blind because I did have a little taste of that through the internship program. Christian?
One of the duties of external vice president is to provide community service or volunteer opportunities to our general members. This year there hasn't been a lot of community service. How do you plan to improve on that, and how do you plan to convince people to come out to the community service events?
So to get more community service, I would, go look for them and try to find stuff that are really fun community service. I mean, I know a lot of people, I don't know, myself, I wouldn't really want to go out and help dig plants and all. But maybe if they're like helping build something, something that is similar to engineering and what they do, I feel like those would attract more people because the people mostly in Fusion are mostly engineers. So I would try to find events that cater to the interest and general members. So maybe I would, at like some point in time, maybe at the start of the year, just ask people like, oh, what are you interested? What kind of community service jobs would you like to be interested in? And then to get people out, there's only so much I could do. I could always pub it out and like say, oh, it's gonna be this fun, these people are going, let's all join, it'll be a fun event. So yeah, I'll just hype it up and then try to get as much people as I can to come. Danny?
So as a former EVP, well, first of all, I'm glad that Alyansa finally doubled down on getting the presidents and the EVPs to work together. Here's the thing. How sure are you that the burden of these cross-board events isn't going to fall solely on Fusion? Because that has happened before, when all four orgs are supposed to come together and really only Fusion and like pass the ball through.
So what was your question? Like,
oh yeah, how do you make sure that the burden of these multi-org Alyansa events isn't going to fall like solely on Fusion?
Well, being the EVP, I know that we have to talk to a lot of other orgs. So I would try to go as to many orgs and try to befriend them, not just come up as a random person and say, hey, you need to come, but like, you know, try to befriend them, be like, oh, hey, let's go together, and then after we can like go eat or something. So I would try to build those relationships with those other orgs, and then through there, I would kind of like nudge them like a friend does to like go. Yeah. Sandra?
What other leadership opportunities have you had that you believe which has prepared you for this upcoming position?
Well, I haven't had that many in college so far. I hope I do in the near future. But in high school, I was the captain of my golf team for 2 years. So I feel like from there I learned how to work with people and how to like communicate with them. And I would always have to go to these events where we go to the middle schools, and then we would kind of pub out on the golf team to try to get people to join. So I feel like from there I have a lot of social skills that the EVP has to have, because they do have to go to other orgs and talk to people. So from there I get that skill. And then just from being captain, I have to work with a lot of people, talk with them, and then I feel like that has what really set me up for this position. Aldrin?
Okay, so this is a hypothetical question.
Okay.
So going off of what Andrew said and Daniel said, you will have a lot of responsibilities, and one of them is helping out at Alyansa fundraisers. And let's say it does fall on a day where Fusion and Alyansa have a fundraiser, and there's no other orgs that are there helping out Alyansa forward. How would you compose yourself in saying, or you said earlier that you would do a gentle, friendly nudge of trying to get people to come out. But what if that doesn't work? How would you compose yourself, and how would you go about that?
So like, how would I address my board, or like just every?
This is Alyansa and
Okay.
your position there.
So if no one was coming out to the Alyansa fundraiser, I would have to take my position's power and then try to be stern with people, like, hey, you signed up for this, you really should go. I know it's good to be nice to people and not always like bag on them, but if it's what they signed up for and what they knew they were going into, I would tell them, hey, you know, this was your job, we really need your help, please come help us. You know, maybe try to make them feel bad, maybe another tactic that could work. But yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone should come help out. I mean, if there's a Fusion and Alyansa fundraiser on the same day, I would be going to both. Like, I would go to Fusion for like, say, X amount of time, then go to Alyansa. And then if Fusion has it all set up, like they're all good, I would maybe help out with Alyansa more. It all depends. But yeah, I would maybe be stern with some of the people, even if I am their friend. I'm like, please don't take this bad, but you know, it's professional. We need to do this. So yeah. Carlos?
So being EVP, it's more than just going to other clubs, but it's also about commanding space. I got this from the past, when a former EVP came in and said this, and so that calls for attending not just the club meetings, but other events as well, being like participant in all those, and that requires a lot of time. In general, like you have P council meetings every week, you have the 3 other orgs you have to go to, sometimes you have to go to Alyansa meetings every Sunday, and I just want to know like how you would handle that kind of burden of just a lot of physical time dedicated to your position.
So I can say I'm not the best at time management. I will not lie and say, oh, I'm gonna be the best at it, but I will adapt. I am a good adapter. So I would try to space out like certain times where I will be doing like homework or going to this club, and then to stay on top of it, I would use a planner or maybe like the little app on your phone. So like I would get reminders, because I've been using that little app on your phone for scheduling this year, and it's been helping my time management a lot. So I would do that, and then just try, if I have to stay up late, then I will. It's college, who doesn't? But yeah, I try to time manage as best as possible by using apps, and then just try to stay on top of things, not procrastinate. Joe?
So another responsibility of the EVP is handling the relations with FASAE, the Filipino American Society of Architects and Engineers. So they're like one of the very few professional connections Fusion has. And in the past years, Fusion's relation with FASAE hasn't been very strong. So this year, the EVP and President have been working to further strengthen that relationship with them by going to their monthly board meetings, going to their events, and offering help when they need it. So how do you plan on continuing that effort?
Well, like you said, how EVP and President were going to their board meetings, I would continue to do that to try to build a relationship. And then, I don't know, maybe just have some hangout days with them. I don't know how old they are, if they're still hang out with college students. But maybe, I don't know. But, you know, try to invite them out to meetings, say, hey, what's up? Let's go hang out or something. But to also maybe have events with them, like maybe you can have community service events with FASAE. So then you can also have the community outreach aspect as well as the FASAE one. Andrew?
All right, so the biggest struggle second years have going into executive board position, especially the VP one, is they lack the vocality to be like a strong leader on boards. So at your Sunday meetings, maybe like the times when the VPs or second years are supposed to step up and speak up and help out with the conversation, they don't do so because, you know, they're second years, they still don't have as much experience, you know. So, you know, how do you prepare yourself to, you know, approach these situations and realize that you have to step up when no one else is? Otherwise, you're kind of like failing as a VP.
I feel like I've learned how to really speak up and stand up for issues while being an intern as well, because sometimes, I'm sorry interns, but we do not communicate well. But, you know, we go, I would just be like, hey guys, let's do this, this, and this. And then you kind of start the ball rolling from there. And then, so I would do that, just kind of find my voice in that way. And I don't find it really hard to stand up to issues. I don't know, because like I've been raised that way. My dad always taught me, if you have an issue, just go out and say it, or else you can cry and no one will be sad for you. So just kind of I wouldn't be afraid to bring up issues, because as a board member, you should be willing to contribute what you think and then help plan stuff. So I feel like that's what I would do.
All right, thank you, Sydney.
Thanks.